Hey everyone, I hope you're all enjoying Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which is now available on both the Nintendo Switch and on PC. And in this discussion video, I want to try to tackle a topic that I don't think necessarily a lot of people are covering all that well, or at the very least are giving it a lot of attention to, and that's the fact that quests in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, I believe, are one of the biggest highlights going into it when it comes to the changes we've seen when it comes to Master Rank. And of course, this is being a discussion video, I certainly want to hear your guys' feedback on how it is that you're enjoying progression-wise when it comes to Master Rank in Sunbreak, so I certainly want to hear your comments in the bottom. But for me personally, as I've been making my way through the game, one of the things that I've noticed and has really begun to stuck out is just the quest variety and the sheer amount of ways that they actually get you to do pretty much the same task, but they flavor it in a different way. What I mean by that is just not only the typical quest that you are going out on the hunt with, like you did in Monster Hunter Rise, which basically the goal is to take down a monster, be done, come back, rinse and repeat, right? That's pretty much the loop. But now with the addition of the followers and survey quests, I think that not only single player experience has been boosted, with the village quest I think always felt separated in the very own segmented off areas. Now, even though you still are dealing with single player experiences, but they feel a little bit better. They feel a little bit more emboldened because you're not necessarily playing by yourself and you have two followers to come along with you. If you don't necessarily know anything about the follower quest, this is something that you're going to be unlocking as you progress into the story. I believe Master Rank 2, and you're essentially going to have two of the followers, essentially people that you're going to see from Elgato and eventually from Komura Village, come to assist you with. Each one of these sub-characters are going to have anywhere from 3 to 5 weapons available to them, and I've noticed that based on pretty much the weapon loadout that you choose for them, they are going to have like different techniques available to them. For example, I noticed that Luchika with the gun lance is pretty dangerous and she's always tossing flash bombs, but when you're using her bow gun, she's not necessarily doing that. She's doing a lot of trapping. So little things like that change up the way you're actually going to be hunting. And not only do those quests add a whole heck of a lot of variety, but also just the basic quests you had originally available in the game, with the typical stuff like slaying quests, capture quests, hunting quests, delivery quests, the expeditions, the urgents, the special licenses, the sub-quests, which now have been just ballooned up. There's just so many sub-quests available to you. Of course, the arena quests. Presumably, we're going to get a ton of event quests, the training quests, just so many of those. And we're not even touching upon the afflicteds, which I'll be getting to in a bit. So just the different ways for you to be able to hunt, I think, have ballooned up in many different ways. Another one of the things that I've also noticed is that just the sheer amount of quests where you have multiple targets available to hunt. So not only did they go from having 3 monsters available in a specific hunt, but now you can have up to 4 monsters that you hunt in any given quest. So that's also going to give you a different set of parameters and a bunch of different monsters that usually don't hang out together. You're going to see a lot of different turf wars, which unless you actually went out and seeked them out, you probably didn't see all the turf wars in the game. I've been seeing so many turf wars now because monsters just who usually aren't paired up in a specific area now have been. So that's another interesting thing to keep an eye out if you haven't necessarily been paying attention to a lot of turf wars. And I think those are like one of the biggest flashlight moments, specifically in a given hunt, especially if you haven't seen it for sure. One of the subtle additions when it comes to quests is, of course, those dual species quests when you're hunting the same monster, but you actually have to hunt it twice. There's like a Daimyo Hermitor quest, which now, by the way, guarantee you a crown, a big crown and a small crown, almost every single time you do a double species hunt. Basically the same monster being hunted in the same quest twice. You're almost guaranteed to either get a big crown or a small crown, or both at the same time. There's a pretty good RNG setup there now where if you're crown hunting, you're just basically going to have that guaranteed whenever you're doing those doubles quests. Now, not every monster has a doubles quest. There's plenty of them that do, but not all of them. So for those monsters that don't have the doubles quest, probably there's going to be a different way. I presume event quests are going to be the target for that still. But, you know, it's pretty good if you're crown chasing to use those kind of double quests to get all the benefits out of that. And when it comes to event quests, I think with the sheer amount of variety, like I mentioned before, I think we're going to see a lot of different event quests now that are no longer rampage bound, that are going to give us a lot of things to go over. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Capcom is going to start dropping when it comes to event quests. Hopefully we'll get more than one per week. At this point in time, the game has like 400 quests. This is something that we went over originally with the leaks. And, you know, you're not going to be short on quests, on things to do. But I do hope the event quests are more than one per week. That certainly would go a long way to keep the variety going. And of course, I haven't even talked about Afflicted quests, which I already made 2 separate videos on. You guys love the feedback on those. And Afflicted quests are just a game changer when it comes to just the sheer amount of variety, not necessarily for the hunt itself, but for the monsters you are going to be able to see in an Afflicted hunt. Because now you have monsters like a Grady Chuchi or Tetranodon being viable actual hunts, that the drops giving you are worthwhile rewards, not only so you can boost up your weapon, because again, Afflicteds drop you special materials for you to go ahead and craft better weapons, but not only that, you're hunting monsters that you typically would never want to hunt. I spoke about this before, but in World, the launch day experience was miserable. All you had to do was hunt Valhazak, and it wasn't fun. Eventually, after like 100 hunts, you just kind of get sick and tired of it, and you never want to see that monster again. Where here, you know, I'm seeing people posting not only speedrun times, which is really funny because the game is barely out, and people are just going to crush those times anyways, like a month from now, so it doesn't really matter. But you're seeing all these people hunting different monsters. No one's really necessarily knows what the fastest hunt is going to be for a specific item. Eventually people will figure that out, but for right now, every single monster is viable in endgame. We have about 30 of them with Afflicted quests, only because there's just no real way to really pin down which materials you're going to need for your weapon, and each one of these monsters have a different set of mechanics usually, so you don't necessarily know based on your playing style which one is going to be easier. Like for me, Magnum Malo has not necessarily been a problem in Master Rank, but I did notice a lot of people struggling with it when it came to like online experience, because I've been trying to like farm up the materials to make the weapons. And you know, I've not had a problem with Magnum Malo online, but I've seen other people struggle with it. So I would imagine people who wouldn't necessarily want to hunt Magnum Malo Afflicted, you know, want to avoid that, but they want to take on another monster that gives you those similar materials for their weapon. Whereas like for me, I would rather just hunt Magnum Malo, and I'd be better off since the training materials are also pretty valuable. So it's one of those things where like I'm seeing a lot of people just kind of like hunt different monsters when it comes to the Afflicteds. And for the first time, I haven't necessarily seen anyone really complain about endgame on launch day. I think the only people who are complaining is like they're basically saying the monsters have health pools a little bit too big. But other than that, it seems rather fine, with the trade-off that you're just seeing so many more different valuable hunts, that the trade-offs for the monsters being a little tanky is not necessarily that big of a downer. Ultimately, it's a boost to you be able to like have different monsters available in endgame. And we know, and this is something that we've touched upon in the last video that I made when I spoke about Afflicteds, we know that all the other monsters are eventually going to get an Afflicted quest. We know that. Those are coming post-launch. So, you know, as updates and presumably event quests. So, you know, we're going to be seeing a ton of real endgame stuff that's really going to challenge people. So that's about all I wanted to talk about. I certainly want to hear your guys' feedback. How's your roadmap has been as you make your way through Master Rank in Sunbreak? I certainly want to hear your guys' opinions on the matter. Have you already made a Master Rank armor? Have you already crafted your weapons? I've certainly been taking my time with it. I'm not necessarily trying to rush through it. And because of that, because I'm not rushing myself to get out a review on day one, I've had the freedom to be able to take things in a little bit slowly and actually understand what it is that they're trying to do development-wise with this game, and I've actually been extremely impressed. Again, the monster total of new monsters, 17, not all that exciting. You know, 20 plus would have been really a good spot, but for now, you know, when it comes to just the sheer variety of stuff that you're able to do in the game, I'm extremely happy with it, and I certainly want to hear what you guys think. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.